He gave the ultimatum like he was handing down a house rule. Calm voice, arms crossed. The kind of certainty that comes from believing the ground will always stay under your feet. You apologize, my dad said, nodding toward the living room where my sister's laugh drifted in from the TV. Or you don't stay here. It was late, past midnight. The house had that hollow quiet it gets when everyone's asleep, but the tension isn't. I'd been staying there temporarily, which meant indefinitely, which meant until I remembered my place. I was supposed to say sorry for something small that had been made large, correcting my sister when she blamed me for her kid missing school again. I hadn't raised my voice. I hadn't insulted anyone. Just said it wasn't true. Dad didn't ask what happened. He never did. He looked at me like a problem to be contained. So, he said, "What's it going to be?" I remember the feeling more than the words. Not anger, not hurt, a kind of narrowing. Like a hallway getting smaller until the only way through is straight ahead. Okay, I said. He exhaled, satisfied. He thought, okay, meant I'd fold. He thought morning would bring an apology, breakfast, the usual quiet restoration of order. I went to my room and packed. I didn't rush. I didn't sneak. I moved with care, choosing what to take and what to leave like I was cataloging a life. Documents, laptop, clothes for a few days, the charger I'd bought and everyone used. I left the rest. I'd learned the difference between things that look important and things that are. Before I slept, I opened my phone and did one more ordinary thing. I changed a setting, removed access, updated a password, not to punish, to clarify. By morning, my bed was empty. My room looked the same, too neat, if anything. I left the key on the kitchen counter. I didn't leave a note. The first sign of trouble wasn't emotional. It never is. It was practical. A payment didn't go through. They noticed because my sister's kids' aftercare balance flagged at school. Then the internet slowed, then stopped. Then the grocery order my dad placed, like usual, bounced back with an error. He called me at 9. I didn't answer. At 10, my sister texted, "Did you mess with something?" At 11, my dad called again. Voicemail this time brisk and irritated. "We need to talk." By noon, the tone shifted. Less command, more confusion. Something's wrong with the account. The account, singular. The one I'd set up years ago when my dad's credit dipped and my sister needed help, just for a bit. The one I funded, monitored, smoothed over. The one that had slowly turned from help into expectation without anyone ever naming it. I watched the messages stack up while I ate a sandwich in a quiet cafe. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt oddly light, like I'd put down a box I'd been carrying without realizing how heavy it was. At 2, my sister called. I answered that one. "What did you do?" she asked. No hello, no pretense. "I moved out," I said. "That's not what I meant." "I know." There was a pause, then the sound of her breathing changing. "You can't just cut us off." "I didn't cut anyone off," I said. "I separated my finances." "You were paying for things," she said like that was the same sentence. "I was," I said. "When I lived there. When I was welcome," she scoffed. "This is about Dad's rules." "You're being dramatic." I pictured my dad at the kitchen table, rereading bank notifications with a crease between his eyebrows. The man who told me to apologize or leave, assuming the leaving was a bluff. "It's about boundaries," I said. "Which you'll notice I didn't have before." She hung up. An hour later, my dad called. His voice was different now. Slower, careful. "You didn't have to do this," he said. I stood by the window of the small room I'd rented for the week, watching traffic inch forward. "I didn't," I said. "You told me to go." "That's not what I meant." "I know," I said again. It felt important to repeat it. Understanding doesn't obligate reversal. He sighed. "We can talk this out." "We already did," I said. "Last night." There was silence on the line. Then quieter. "Your sister is struggling." I closed my eyes. This was the lever he always reached for. "Family is weight. I'm not stopping you from helping her," I said. "I'm just not doing it for you anymore." "You're tearing the family apart," he said, not angrily. Almost mournful. "No," I said. "I'm stepping out of the middle." The next day, authority arrived, not as a person, but as a process. A school administrator called my sister about overdue fees. The landlord emailed about a late utility payment tied to the old account. A bank representative left a message asking my dad to confirm information he didn't have. Systems don't care about hierarchy. They care about names on forms. My sister showed up at my door that evening. I hadn't told anyone where I was staying, but she found out the way she always did, by asking until someone answered. Her kid waited in the car. "You did this on purpose," she said. "I did it deliberately," I said. "There's a difference." She crossed her arms. "So what, we're just supposed to suffer?" I thought of all the nights I'd stayed quiet so things wouldn't be awkward. All the times I'd paid and smiled and swallowed the comment that wanted out. I'm not asking you to suffer, I said. I'm asking you to take responsibility. For what? For yourselves. She laughed, short and bitter. You think you're better than us now? I shook my head. No, I think I'm done being smaller. She left without saying goodbye. A week passed, then another. Messages came, spaced farther apart. My dad tried once more, apologizing sideways. Sorry things got out of hand. Sorry I felt pushed. He never said sorry for pushing. I didn't move back. I didn't reopen the account. I didn't post anything dramatic or tell extended family my version. I let the quiet do its work. The world they'd built didn't end. It adjusted. It had to. That's what happens when a hidden support beam is removed. The structure reveals where it was weak. Sometimes I miss the idea of what we were supposed to be. But I don't miss the role I played to keep it intact. I said okay, and I meant it.